you know those four people you named, man, they've generated over $1 billion in business.
Easily.
You know, and probably more like 2 billion.
I was going to say closer to 2 than to 1.
Definitely closer to 2 billion. So
well, it's actually closer to 3 if you include all the movies, because
exactly, yeah,
Cube
you're right.
by himself is more than $1 billion at the box office.
You're right, man, and you know,
or I think is more than $1 billion.
Debatably, Cube is probably the greatest gangster rapper of all time. You know, top 5 easily.
Yeah,
Cube is a bad man.
That's an understatement.
You know, he's a bad man.
He's phenomenal.
He's a bad man.
He'll be on my list several times.
Oh, man.
It's top 50.
and yeah, that's the thing we're letting you guys know now. There is definitely going to be multiple entries of certain artists because, like they said, this is competition. And these guys, they did it consistently.
Yeah.
You know, some of these guys, I think Ice Cube, it wasn't a really long run because he really took off in the world of acting.
Right.
But he went on a run, man, where pretty much he controlled the game for a good 7-8 years, man. And it was just like, undeniably.
Yeah.
He was a bad man.
The only people that would deny it were some of the people in the media. But in reality, that's starting with, of course, his work with NWA. But then as a solo artist, I mean, Cube was dominant, prominent, selling out shows, selling lots of records, but more importantly, driving what the music was going to be. It was his voice, his words, his style, his storytelling, all of that really changed the game.
Yeah, it did, man. But with that being said, Cube will probably wind up being one of those guys that gets his own episode.
As he should.
So let's get into your 41 through 50, man. I'm curious to see what you got cracking.
All right, so we doing one at a time. We gonna talk about them, or you just want me to?
We gonna talk about them too. See,
just list 41 through 50.
Yeah, we're doing something different. We're going to actually let you guys see the whole process of us putting this list together. We're not gonna be like these other lames and just throw a bunch of bullshit out there and put some bad shit on there on purpose just to spark debate and get some clicks and likes. No,
right.
We're doing this because we really care about this shit. So we're gonna involve you guys in the process.
So. What I'll do then is I'll go from 41 to 50. You ready?
Yeah.
Project Pat, Ghetty Green.
Let's talk about it a little bit.
Man, Project Pat's debut album, and I got the book with Juicy J, September 5th, Chronicles of the Juice Man. Of course, Juicy J, DJ Paul produced the album together, and Project Pat I think is literally one of the best rappers of all time. He's a phenomenal artist, very underrated. And the thing about Project Pat that he does, and he starts on it with Ghetty Green, he's got another album that's higher than this on my list. But Pat, I think, is such a brilliant artist because, one, he's lived through all this stuff, so he's legitimate.
Yeah, he's authentic. He's authentic like a mug.
But beyond that, what makes Pat so great to me is that he really dissects. Like Ice-T was the first one I remember, and Ice Cube. Even Schooly D did it, and KRS-One. But they showed you the pitfalls and the downfall of the game. And Project Pat on Ghetty Green starts off with that. You got backstabbers. You got, that just shows you right there. He's got Crucial Conflict on there. But, Out There's a great song, North Memphis, Choices, Choppers, of course, Ballers. But Pat has the humor, he's got the street tales, and he's got the super gangsterism, but then also showing you the pitfalls of the game. And the way he does it, his phraseology, his terminology, is just phenomenal. And I think Ghetty Green is one of those albums that, because there's so many great albums, I think now, it came out in 99, and that was also one of those years where rap exploded on the charts and all this stuff to a lot of the big records that came out also in 99 and 98. So I think it kind of got lost a little bit, but not to me. Ghetty Green, phenomenal project.
Yeah, I also have that on my list, but I'll let you continue.
Okay. Then I got Schooly D, Smoke Some Kill. This is his third album, but it's his first album where his picture was actually on the cover. And you got Another Poem, Same White Bitch, Here We Go Again, Black Man, Treacherous. And this album, I think, is so important because musically Schooly D created gangster rap. You know, really, I'd say that he had done it before with Gangster Boogie in his earlier records, but of course PSK, What Does It Mean to Me is the beginning of gangster rap. You know, it influenced Ice-T to make 6 in the Morning in the way that he did, but with Smoke Some Kill, Schooly had changed from the Schooly D album that came out in 85, Saturday Night, the album which came out in 86, and then when he gets to Jive and puts out in 88 Smoke Some Kill, his production, and he produced all of his music. So he was, to me, also really the first rapper producer. And Smoke Some Kill, he evolved his sound. He changed and was still telling all these street stories, talking about drugs, talking about being on the corners and all this different stuff as he had done before. But he always sprinkled it in, and I think on Smoke Some Kill, he started doing it more and more, the political commentary, the social commentary.
Exactly.
And we get a lot more of that with his next album, Am I Black Enough For You? But that one, I think, toned down on the gangsterism a little bit, so I'll put Smoke Some Kill, which to me is more street, more gangster. Then I'm going to go with Ice Cube's The Predator. When Will They Shoot? It Was a Good Day. Who Got the Camera? All these songs.
Hold on, let me go back. So you got It Was a Good Day in the bottom, in the last 10?
Well, for the whole album.
For the whole album?
Yeah.
That was a big album, man. I had that rated a little higher.
Well, that's a tough one.
But I'm not mad at it, though, because Cube is going to have multiple entries through this thing, I'm pretty sure.
He is. And the other thing that I'll say about it is, to me, Smoke Some Kill, the production is just so amazing. And I'm only talking about a few songs here and there. And I think that The Predator, coming off Death Certificate, I was just, to me, Death Certificate's going to be way higher on the list, so we'll talk in detail about that later, as is America's Most Wanted. And I just thought Predator, as amazing as it is a distinct, it's not as good as those two albums.
It's very different. It's a lot more.
Very different.
Very commercial.
Well, sonically, especially, it's very, and even lyrically, there's a lot of different things going on it that I think show, again, Cube's brilliance, but I also think it's a very different album in so many different ways. And again, to make in the top 40s, that's a tall order.
Yeah, it is. I believe that's fair.
Yeah.
That's a fair assessment. I'm not mad at that.
And then we're going to get to DJ Quik with Safe and Sound. That one, Quik's got multiple entries on here for me too. And I remember, obviously it's super gang banging, but I remember, he's got Get At Me, Safe and Sound, Dollars and Cents, of course. But I also remember, and I've talked to Quik about this many times over the years, and I've written about it with him. This was during he made this album during one of the darkest, most frustrating times of his life. And that's reflected in the music. It's very angry, and it's not as bright as, say, Rhythmalism, or even Quik is the Name for that matter. And
The album is kind of melancholy and dark a little bit.
it's very, not kind of, it's extremely.
It's a dark album.
But that being said, it's still brilliant and amazing, and shows that, at this point, when you're getting 2-3 albums in, like Schooly D, like Ice Cube, and like DJ Quik are, to me, that's just showing their brilliance, because at this point, in the early, and then with Safe and Sound being 95, you're getting into the mid-90s, so gangster rap, created in 85, exploded in 88, 89, so now we have a 6-7 years after its real explosion, and for a DJ Quik, a Schooly D, or Ice Cube to really have so many albums out at this point.
Gangster Chronicles, we gon' tell you how it goes. If I lie, my nose will grow like Pinocchio. We gon' tell you the truth and nothing but the truth. Gangster Chronicles, this is not your average show.